Oh boy, we're live. Hello, good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us again. Of course, we are minus our lovable and fan favorite Justin. He is still on the vacay, enjoying his family. How dare he? But that's okay. We'll see him next week. He is in the chat participating, so, there's that. Other than that, though, to fill in the one man, we have two gentlemen here on my left and my right. Tim Bristol and Nolan, no last name, of Speaking from the Center podcast. I'm glad you guys are here. What's up?
Hello.
Hi.
Nothing. I guess we're just, glad to be here. We had you on one of our shows because you're a producer, according to Tim.
According to Patreon, yes. Jena is a producer of our show.
That is right.
Patreon is wizardry, Tim. You know this.
Right. Apparently, the rule is if you give them money, a certain amount, then you can be a producer and, have your say in whatever they broadcast.
I'm pretty sure that's how most movies work, too.
I'm
just
sure
give enough money. You're a producer now.
True. I've yet to manipulate those powers, but, I'll have my day. It was just, I think, I had been a patron. I've been a patron. Yes, thank you. I don't know how many months. I forgot to look back, but it's been a while. And all that time I haven't been able to get on the show. But I was, 2-3 weeks ago? That was fun.
Last show in July, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was the July 28th show.
Yeah. I enjoyed it. I was happy to be on, finally.
It was a good show.
Yeah.
Oh, Donna Bajero. Hello. New friend to the show. Yes. Hi, Justin. Longtime fan, first time watcher. That is, I don't know how you'd feel, Justin.
I mean,
that has
technically,
to be
yes.
Technically, yes. Because he definitely doesn't watch his shit over again. I kind of skimmed through it because I kind of forced myself to, but he definitely does not like watching himself. That's one thing he don't.
I want to get used to hearing myself talk because I want to be a streamer and eventually make content. So I'm like, well, I'm gonna have to edit stuff. So eventually, I'm gonna have to keep hearing myself talk. Might as well get used to it.
See, that's part of the deal, right? Mm-hmm. So, do you, Tim, Nolan, ever rewatch old episodes? Be like, oh, I want to edit that, but then forget or get lazy, like me.
So I used to.
Okay.
Before we did video content, when we were just like a pre-recorded podcast.
Oh, in the days of internet radio.
Oh yeah, we were also on internet radio. I think it was Blog Talk Radio.
Yeah.
Where it was like a live call-in show.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous.
I've rewatched some shows. But the last time I had to do that was because we were drinking during it, and I, honest to God, could not remember the last 10 minutes of it. So it's just sort of I hope we didn't screw this up before they posted it.
I don't think, but I do understand.
Yeah. I don't usually do that on the air either, ever. But this one time it was like,
made a mistake. That was me. But you guys have done this for like a long ass time, because I remember going through all your old videos on your channel now.
Oh God.
And it's like close to 10 years.
Yeah, when how long ago were you in Waterbury, Tim?
That was like 10 years ago.
10, 11 years. We used to drive up there.
Yeah.
Oh God. Yeah.
And we used to do it off of one computer. We all had to sit around the same computer and microphone.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Sometimes we didn't have enough chairs either. That's the funny part.
Had to sit on each other's laps.
Or the floor.
Just start pacing.
Dang.
Wait for your turn to use the mic.
Yeah,
but
we had to get one. No, we had to get one of those like cheaper mics that caught all the noise so that we could all speak into it.
It was really bad when we were in that little crappy place in Derby. And you could hear people running down the stairs because they were late for being on the show to come from the upstairs apartment to the downstairs one to record.
Dang. The content still stays the same, relatively.
Yeah, actually, that show, that iteration wasn't too bad. We did a special episode just to kind of date it a bit, where we went down to the Occupy Wall Street protest thing and interviewed people there and like did a whole show about that. That's how long ago. And we had been doing it for years before that point. So,
and actually before that, our other co-host, sometimes co-host Keith, and I did a live psychic reading podcast show on Blog Talk Radio where people would call in and we would give them psychic readings.
Really?
Oh,
yes.
Geez.
What?
Wow. So how did you pick? So did you have like a spirograph or what is that? What is the roulette wheel or
Ouija
pick a card?
board.
What you do? Ouija board. Okay.
Ouija board. There you go.
Wow. You touched on everything. The roulette wheel. Oh, okay. So you legit utilize the Ouija board.
Oh no, I never used to. My stuff was like, I mean, Keith and I both knew how to read tarot, and Keith knows how to read runes, and I know palmistry. So we have like our own things. But when people came and called in, it was the tarot cards.
Okay, so cards, yeah,
Okay.
cool.
Yeah. It's mainly the tarot cards.
We have this troll in the chat. This Justin Nelson. We get rid of him.
He has
Got
a
a
wrench, so
wrench.
that's kind of difficult. Each time Justin talks, it will be displayed. So you're welcome, Justin. It's because I love you. Well, you guys mentioned Keith. Keith cannot be here. Hopefully, maybe sometime in the future he can. But
he
that's
doesn't
okay.
make it
We
to our
understand.
show either, and he's a co-host. So,
And that's funny because when I was on with you guys had mentioned he had been gone for like what, a month? 2
Yeah,
months?
he went out for a pack of cigarettes one day and he never came back.
That's right.
Oh, same old story. How
No,
sad.
literally, if you go back, I don't know which episode it was, but if you go back and watch our show, halfway through the show, Keith gets up, walks away, and then you don't see him for 2 months. Like, in the canon of the show, he's gone. And
yeah,
he
he
just
got
shows
up
again one day.
literally to go have a cigarette and never came back. Like the deadbeat dad we all know he can grow up to be one day.
What? Like, did he? No text. Just
No,
like,
he
I'm
told-
really am bouncing.
He told
Wasn't-
my wife that the reason he was leaving, but he didn't tell me.
I think it was actually, it wasn't. It was to smoke a cigarette and then to go gamble, right?
Yeah, he went to go play poker at the casino. But he didn't tell anyone that he was doing this. He just got up and left.
In the middle of the show?
And
Well,
then-
yeah,
You know,
it was
it only
just-
takes 2 weeks to get a habit forming. So I mean, I would just expect that was 2 weeks at the casino then.
Yeah, like mid-chat, just camera went dark, boop, gone.
Yeah.
No wonder you guys need producers. Speaking of which, if you want to be a producer, actually all the links to support Speaking from the Center are down in the description. Link to their YouTube, link to their Patreon, link to whatever else I could find, Twitter, all that down there. Click on it, view it, subscribe. I know most of your guys' conversations on Speaking from the Center is mostly around politics. I mean, it's pretty obvious from the logo and the I know, like Tim, you have not only your, well, I guess both of you have a pretty good solid history with like politics or
Yeah. I have a bachelor's degree in political science with a minor in history, so political history is my jam.
Yeah,
And you, Nolan?
I was a history major in college, and I'm just very well traveled now, as we were talking about earlier.
Right.
And I've
Yes.
Tim handles the domestic local stuff, and I tend to handle the broader global perspective. And we both try to stay pretty grounded in the middle, though. Whatever the hell that means these days is anybody's guess.
Yeah. The political
Throw a
middle.
dart, you'll hit something.
Yeah.
So either of you consider yourself a particular political party, hold a certain political view?
Nolan certainly considers me something. Nolan, what am I? I'm a
You are a case study in left-wing radicalization through the American higher education system.
Oh yeah.
So libertarian? What is that?
No. Radical left. Tim was just a
anarchist,
milquetoast Democrat for years, and then he started going to college, and then it's he gets a little uppity on the show sometimes when it comes to his leftist-leaning sensibilities now.
Oh, don't we all when we go to college?
Education is a slippery slope.
Yeah.
Damn liberals.
Yeah, the problem is I'm not like some like 20-something-year-old kid going to college and getting new ideas. I'm 35. So
it makes it worse.
Yeah.
Is Nolan a political party?
Nolan doesn't like my my liberalization, as he calls it.
Radicalization, Tim. You were always a liberal.
That's
you go
true.
back and listen to some of those old unlistenable shows, and we routinely call you a fucking liberal all the time and yell at you for the things you do. But over your college days, you've just gone hard left, man. And not that you weren't always to the left, but now you're shouty about it, so that makes it far left. Because you got to be far one side or the other to get that shouty about stuff like local politics and governmental spending.
Why is this under your cross so much, Nolan? Jeez, are you not a lefty?
No, it's not that. It's just I don't get shouty about things like that. And again, he gets shouty about boring stuff. He gets shouty about local politics.
I do.
Well,
I'm going to be. And this is why aldermen are important. And it's like, whoa, buddy. No, it's not.
So I'm currently.
Go ahead.
She said, "Go ahead." That means you keep talking, Tim.
Oh. Currently I'm in. Sorry. Currently I'm going for my master's in political science, and my focus is local politics, local and state politics, and specifically my thesis is on campaign finance, which it's extra boring, but Connecticut has a clean elections programs for its statewide offices, so they're trying to keep out corporate money, and it succeeds to a certain degree, but I'm trying to see how it compares to other states that have similar programs.
Interesting. Connecticut.
Hell of a thing to get shouty about.
Listen, I'm very impassioned about my campaign finance reform. Just saying.
We need that. We need the reform, Tim. So good on you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Aren't you running for local office too? Is that still a thing? Okay.
Yeah, I'm running for town council in Stratford, Connecticut, 7th district.
Cool.
Nice.
Makes sense. I mean, it sounds like you want to. It sounds like a plan of civil servitude, or civil service, excuse me. For I mean that's honorable.
Yeah, you'd think, but he runs a food truck, so
that's where the ball drops.
Nothing wrong with that. What's your signature dish?
Fantastic.
Our food truck is a grilled cheese food truck.
Okay.
And we were actually just featured in the local newspapers. We don't really have a signature, but we got a couple of ones that we do real well.
Patty melt.
Yeah, the patty melt. We have a barbecue pork sandwich. The truck has a smoker that I bought.
Smoked pulled pork sandwich. Oh.
Oh yeah. You're touching Multi's heart there.
Jenna, you know how you're a producer on our show because you give us money? With the amount of times my wife and I have gone to like Tim's food truck, we should be like a producer of the food truck.
You're a manager now.
Yeah, they should at least get like part ownership. They should get like profit sharing.
If that is the case, and hear me out, will you deliver to California?
See, I've been
in your food truck.
I've been asked this by a few people, like Mikey Famine and
no, forget that guy. Just California.
Chicago.
Just drive around the country with your truck.
Drive around Chicago.
I'm trying to devise a way to send grilled cheese through the mail and still have it be good.
Right. I mean, it would be overnight shipping.
Yeah.
Seriously, Doritos. God.
Yep. He's
Bye,
leaving
Justin.
us for Doritos.
Yep.
Yeah, he left
That's
us for
typical.
Doritos.
That's fair.
Nah, I guess. He's cooking steak without seasoning on it. How dare you?
But
Yeah,
I
I called you
don't.
out.
I don't think my food truck would make it to California. I think it would die
Aw.
somewhere in the Rocky Mountains, and that would be the end.
I wouldn't give you credit past Pennsylvania in that thing, buddy.
Hey, I drove it from Maryland to Connecticut, so it can at least go that far.
Oh, okay. That's true.
Whereabouts you at, Tim?
Connecticut. Well, Nolan and I live in Stratford, Connecticut.
Stratford, Connecticut. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mhm.
Don't worry, we never heard of it either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Good.
It's close
There's
to
only-
it's close to New Haven.
There's only
And-
like 4
I
people who
just-
live in Connecticut, so it's fine.
No. It's not like North Dakota here. We've got 6.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay, a little bit more. I like it.
Well, actually,
good,
what we
that's
got is all the New Yorkers that fled New York City during the pandemic. They all
Oh,
moved
yeah.
to Connecticut.
And they caused it
Yeah.
there because, like, wasn't the big 3 like it was Connecticut, New York, and New Jersey who were all trying to
Yeah.
scramble to figure out what to do? It's like, well, they all brought it to Connecticut. So.
It's actually been amazing for our state because we have all this tax revenue now that we didn't have before.
Nice.
Yeah.
Dang.
The only downside is it's driven our housing market through the roof.
Oh,
Yeah, that's everywhere
absolutely.
too. Same in
Same
New Jersey.
here.
But it's we got the taxable revenue for the next year or so until the people who thought New York was bad get fed up and leave.
You're only
he's
about
not
an
New York
11-hour
as well.
drive from me.
Oh, where are you at?
Prince Edward Island, Canada.
Canada.
Oh,
He's
Canadian.
from Canada.
Did you guys think that this whole change in the way that work from home is throwing prices of housing through the roof? What is it? Why? Because people don't have to go to work and now it's okay to stay at home? How does that change?
What it was here specifically is that there was no building going on during the pandemic, and a lot of people who would have normally sold their houses were sitting on them, and some of them are still sitting on them. And the problem is you combine a lack of inventory with an explosion of people wanting to buy in Connecticut, specifically our area, because we're along the Metro North line. And the New Yorkers literally got on the Metro North, got off in Connecticut, and started buying houses.
Yeah.
You get away from the Metro North line, and the housing market actually in those parts of Connecticut aren't terrible. But then you're in what we call deer country.
Gotcha.
Where you're statistically more likely to be a deer than a person.
Yeah.
There's nothing up there. It's trees and Lyme disease for miles. That's it.
If you're not on the coastline where it's all like the nice Connecticut-esque towns where, like Mystic or Old Lyme or something, if you go north of the coastline, it's just nothing. It's farm country and deers.
Wow. I mean, now you have more people.
Yeah,
Still the same amount of deer.
All crammed into Fairfield County.
Yeah.
That's fun. Fun times. Well, Nolan, because Tim had mentioned you are a communist because you worked in a communist country. So
Tim
Tim
likes to call me a communist, and he has a specific banner for whenever we are at the end of an episode of Speaking from the Center that flashes up that says Nolan is a communist. Because you've seen it. It goes, hey, Nolan, what do you want to plug your stuff? And then I get the big screen, and then pow, Nolan is a communist. Thank you, Tim. God damn it,
Chat.
I know it's you, Bristol. I know it.
Come on, chat. Chat.
I'm joining in.
Well, Nolan, now you got to explain yourself.
I'm not a communist. I am. If there's a political ideology I follow, it's pragmatism. For the most part, I have, on occasion, more than once in my life, lived and worked 4 years at times in a communist country. That being the People's Republic of China.
Oh,
where I have occasionally taken up residence and worked, usually, actually almost exclusively as an English teacher.
Nice. So are you pretty fluent in Mandarin?
Yes, and also no.
No.
Okay, fair enough.
It's I have a fairly decent command of the language. The biggest issue I run into is the last time I was there was 2017, so like 4 years ago.
Yeah.
The longer I'm out of the country, the more I kind of forget, and then I've been using things to try to keep my fluency up, and then I'm like, oh wait, I do know how to say that, and I'll learn a bit more. And when I go over there again, eventually, I'm sure I'll pick a bunch of it right back up. And
Rosetta Stone.
I have Duolingo on my phone. I'm on it like every day.
There you go.
A lot of that's just so I can keep track. I can't write, but I can't write in English all that well either. So Chinese have no hope.
That's fair.
And I can read fairly well sometimes, depending. And the problem with speaking Chinese is that there is a single like main language, the Mandarin dialect that you see in their news broadcasts and the movies. Yeah. But in reality, since it's a tonal language, there's like hundreds of dialects.
Well, isn't that why the people's language is a print language?
Yeah.
So it'd be tough if you can't write, because I think isn't that what's pushed is being able for everyone to be fluent in their written language.
Yeah, I mean the educational system there in terms of literacy is very good, and everybody can read and write and allegedly speak that language. But I've traveled around in the interior and I've worked in the rural areas, and every place has its own little local quirks and sometimes full-on like dialectal differences from like town to town within a province.
Wow.
Just based on where it is and other historical influences through the region. So that's been fun.
So explain your definition of pragmatism and why. Why do you hold that view? Or because, being a pragmatist, I should say.
Well, being pragmatic, it doesn't mean like, I don't know that it has a particular political allegory to it, but it's just pragmatic, meaning what makes the most sense to do at this time. You know, it's we want to do this, and okay, that's good, but you know, how do we get there? Like if this is what we want, that's fine. I'm okay with that goal, but you have to have a practical understanding of how you're going to get there. Realistic short-term goals that are definable so you can actually kind of work in the direction of and show progress towards what a long-term goal might be.
I'm sorry, Nolan, that doesn't work in American politics.
No shit.
You're going to have to pick a side, one or the other. Come on.
Nope.
Well, where would that work, Tim? Canada? Does that work?
Maybe Canada.
Maybe Canada.
They seem to have it a little bit more together. I'm not going to say the British because not them.
They can't do anything right.
Yeah, they can't do anything right.
No, they're screwed over there.
I don't know. Maybe the Germans. The Germans seem pretty pragmatic.
They have a really good health system, actually.
Yeah, and they're currently like one of the strongest economies in the European Union. Like they got their stuff together. We still can't trust them though. It hasn't been 100 years yet.
It's true.
They get their centennial review, and then we decide if they're okay.
2045. It's closer than you think.
No shit. Well, then we will reassess at
45 or 50. What was it? 53.
Yeah.
That's only when we entered, right?
No, 45 is when the war ended. 53 is when I think the Bundesrepublik of Deutschland was founded, the Federal Republic.
Oh, wow.
Okay, yeah.
I think it might have been earlier. It might have been 49.
We'll cut them some slack. We'll take it.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll take it in stride.
Oh, geez.
I mean, they're okay right now, but we're keeping our eye on them.
Got to.
Yeah.
Got to.
Jeez, you never know.
We have a country war going on in the chat. Switzerland better than Germany.
Theo.
Are the Swiss better than the Germans, though? I'm not sure.
I don't know that the Swiss could answer that. They're too busy being up in the mountains, you know.
That's true.
And speaking
they're
three
neutral
different
on the
languages.
topic.
Yes.
Swiss are neutral on the topic.
Oh shoot. Okay. Well, let's get a little dirty here. So then, Tim, as far as your tarot readings and your satanic medicine, serum theories, applications, yada yada yada, bougie. What is that? What are you doing? What did you do?
Talk it up, spirit doctor.
Yeah. So the technical term is spirit doctor. That's what we call ourselves.
Spirit fingers.
Well, I thought it was woo wizard.
Oh yeah.
Spirit fingers. Nate. Sorry. Okay, go ahead.
So this was a long time ago. This was around the time I actually met Nolan, because I was going to community college at the time. But
yeah, community college.
Yeah. Keith got me into doing tarot readings, and we used to go to Renaissance fairs and do them for people, and we try not to take it too seriously, because there's a lot of tarot readers out there that are all about the, I can tell your future and all that, and there's a lot of liability there.
So you didn't do that?
No, we took a more fun approach to it, where we would read the cards, and every card has a specific meaning and a position in the reading you're doing. So we'd read the cards, and we would try not to cold read people, because that's something that people get trapped into all the time. Yeah, that's true.
Sheldon Cooper.
But after a while, we got enough money together, and we opened a new age shop in Stratford, and we had it for about 6 months. It was like semi-successful until our rent got jacked through the roof. But we had a lot of weird people come in there and ask for like strange stuff. Like, Keith's not here.
You say that like that's odd.
Well, Keith's not here to tell the story, but he got called by the Bridgeport police. He got called by the Bridgeport police to consult on what they thought was some sort of, what do they call it? Like a voodoo ritual. Because they found a bunch of severed chicken heads in the forest in like a symbol, and they're like, "Hey, what is this?" And they're like, "We think it's voodoo." And he's like, "That's not voodoo."
Compose yourself, Multi. Compose yourself. Multi's like, "Oh God, cringe."
Yeah. And so he got called to consult with the Bridgeport police a few times. We've had people come in asking us to like get rid of ghosts or something, and funny. And we're like,
all the nights for Keith not to be here.
Yeah, we don't really do that. There was one time, and this is the funniest thing that ever happened in the shop. So me and Keith are just hanging out in the shop, nothing's really going on, and this guy comes in, and he bursts in the door, and he's like, "I need all of your sage now." And we're like, "What do you need it for?" He's like, "No time to explain, I just need it." So he bought all the sage in the shop, and he left, and he didn't explain a thing, but he was in immediate need of sage. And me and Keith are like, "What does this guy need?
Oh, no.
What is he doing?"
Padding his sale of marijuana to somebody.
He's got a lot of smudging to do.
Exactly.
He had a whole bunch of smudging.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, if you get Keith on the show, he had poor internet today, which is why he couldn't come on. But why. Yeah, he's got a whole bunch of stories about stuff he's done that's apart from the New Age shop. Like it's certainly interesting, and he's not a Satanist or anything. I think he's Wiccan.
He just looks that way.
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
And I don't subscribe to any particular religion. I consider myself not atheist, but agnostic.
Okay, that's fair. Even at that point when you both had that New Age shop.
Yeah. we always tell people that when we're doing tarot readings that we don't believe that we're inherently psychic, and that this is more of a card reading, and we're not going to tell you your future because that's not what we're supposed to do. And
so you're not inherently psychic. It's something you have to work on.
I don't think it's hard to. So I don't believe that I'm psychic.
Okay.
I am reading tarot cards.
I agree. You are not psychic.
Exactly. And the way we propose it to our customers is it's more of a fun thing. And they buy into it because we're having fun. And it's a lot different from other people who say, oh, I'm going to tell you your future. Or I can talk to your dead grandfather or stuff like that. Like, we don't talk to dead people. We don't tell people their future because it's weird. Like, most of the people are coming in don't even know what they want to ask. So it's really more of a, this is like your moment in time, this is what your life looks at kind of reading, where you're just explaining to the customer where they are mentally or emotionally, and you have a conversation about the tarot cards. But we're not pretending to be psychic or anything.
Okay, cool.
Okay. It's kind of like so no relation, and darn it, Kelly's not here. Kelly is another a crew member here on the show. He had to have some pretty heavy dental work, so hopefully, Kelly, you're recovering. But he, in his prior life, used to do, woo crystals. So I'm assuming is there any similarity, or were you at all familiar with that, utilized that at all?
I'm not. I know what the crystals are.
What are they called, Tim?
They're called woo crystals. I've never used them. I know Keith may or may not have experience with them. Only things I have experience with is palmistry and tarot readings. And actually, the palm readings are fun, because once you learn what all the lines mean, people get a kick out of it. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, Kelly is a level 14 woo wizard.
He is, yes.
I'm so happy. I don't know what that is, but I'm so happy that's a phrase that exists.
Yes, when we had Kelly on as a guest to interview, I think we were like, I don't know if it came up before that, but he pulled out like this crystal he had that was like a magic wand, and so we said like, if we can we do this thing with these the rocks or whatever, and he's just like, well, if you're a level 14 woo wizard, you can. So we're just like, so that's where it just came up. So we bring it up all the time, especially when Kelly's on. And
Nice.
anytime we're like, can we do this? Well, you need to be a level 13 woo wizard to do that.
Yeah. Kelly, he lives in Upper Michigan. He owns his own rock shop. He is an actual geologist and does research papers, and I believe also like classes too, with if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, he does that legit work.
And his shop has a guarantee that none of these rocks are magical, or none of these rocks have any energy in them. So he says some people have even like walked in, saw the sign, and immediately walked out because they came for crystals, and nope, we guarantee. I think he also says like, if you can prove that the crystals helped you in some way, if you like can prove it, they'll like give you a refund.
It's magical, then yeah,
they'll give you a refund or something.
Yeah. I've heard about that kind of stuff before, where like, if you can prove that you're psychic, we'll give you this money. But you have to go through like a scientific test.
Yeah, he said like, you have to bring like medical reports that show that like, you came in with cancer, none of the treatments worked, and nothing was changed, and then you held a rock to your heart and slept on it, and the next day your cancer was cured, and they checked everything, and the only way it could happen was was because of the rock. But surprisingly, no one has been able to go in and do that.
I haven't seen that paragraph. It must be on the back of the sign.
Oh yeah, that's how he explains it. I think he said I don't know if he explains it or maybe people ask him, but he says, yeah, if you bring in proof, we'll do that.
He hands out pamphlets. He's like, yeah, read this. Explains everything. These are the criteria. So okay, I want to dive back with you guys, or not, I guess not mainly just you, but mainly Keith being called in from actual police force.
Yes.
So
the Bridgeport police learned that there was a new new age shop in Stratford, and they called us, and Keith picked up because I think it was his phone number at the time, and he's like, the Bridgeport police think there's like a voodoo sacrifice thing going down in the woods somewhere, and we got to go check it out. So like,
we have to check it out.
Yeah, Keith, he studies religion, and so he knows a lot more about that stuff than I do.
You mean like studied, on his own, right?
Yeah, on his own.
Not like at like any sort of scholastic level.
No, he's just
purely recreational.
He reads a lot of books about religion, so he knew that it wasn't voodoo because that's not a voodoo ritual or whatever. And they called him again about something else too, and I forget what it was, but I think it was another thing that they thought was voodoo. And he had to tell them, like, guys, this isn't voodoo. It's just someone being weird.
Got a bunch of chickens. Gotta process them somewhere. You know.
It turned out it was like a bunch of teenagers that were killing chickens in the woods. Like that's, but the Bridgeport police were freaked out by it. They were freaked out by it, so they called us, and from then on we called ourselves spirit doctors.
It kind of makes sense. There's a lot of Haitians in Bridgeport. It could have been voodoo.
Oh, wow.
Well, all right, get him off.
Voodoo.
You're raising his blood pressure.
Comes from Haiti. That's a traditional Haitian thing, man.
I mean, you're right. You're right.
That's all.
But I would appreciate if you not raise his blood pressure.
You're gonna send Multi after you. He's gonna jump through the screen.
Oh, gosh. So Nolan, what made you continue to be friends with such a weirdo like Tim and Keith?
Oh, he had no choice.
So Tim and Keith are a package deal, or they were back then. You couldn't have one without the other.
Didn't we like live in the same house for a while?
Well, yeah, but yes. Well, and that was my doing because you guys had to move out of that apartment.
Yeah.
In Waterbury, and I was like, hey, there's this duplex and the bottom floor is opening up and you guys could all live there. And I was going to, I think, and then you were like, it's a 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom apartment. And both you and Keith were moving in with your girlfriends.
So I didn't have a girlfriend at the time when we moved in.
So there was like, it was going to be like 5 people in 1 bathroom. And I was like, no, but I hear there's a room for a rent on the 2nd floor. I'll go live there. Because there it's 3 people in 1 bathroom, and that seems far more manageable.
It's a better ratio.
It's a better ratio.
Yeah, I was 7 years of my life down the drain. That was a waste of time. God.
So really, it was Nolan's own fault.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Kind of. I meant living in the apartment. I didn't mean hanging out with you. That was.
Oh, I mean, you didn't. When I moved out of that apartment, Nolan didn't see me for a while, and then when I moved to Stratford, it was around the same time that Nolan had moved to Stratford.
Yeah.
And one day he called me and he was like, "Hey Tim, you live in Stratford now, right?" And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Where do you live?" And I was like, "Oh, I live here." And he's like, "I can walk to your house." And then he did.
Creepy.
Well, we hung out a little bit. We used to do the show at the house you lived in Shelton for a while.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then you guys bought your house, I want to say.
Yeah.
And then like 3 years later, I left Derby finally. Actually, one of those years I spent over in China again. So.
Oh, that's right. I remember because you went to China and then I saw you 6 months later because you had to come back to the U.S. for some reason. And you're like, I'm only here for a little bit. Yep.
Paperwork issue. Had to come back.
Any places to play disc golf around there?
Where? China or Stratford?
Stratford.
Yes.
Cool.
There are at least 2 parks within easy driving distance. One is in Bridgeport and the other's in Norwalk, and I think there's one in Milford too.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Cool.
But the Norwalk one's the nice one.
Do you guys go play?
I do when the weather isn't insane.
Yeah, it's too hot right now.
Yeah.
I like to go to the Norwalk one.
I was supposed to go tonight, but I didn't because it was like 36 degrees with the humidity outside. That's just way too freaking hot.
Yeah.
So
that sounds pretty cold.
Shut up, Tim. It's
Celsius. Celsius.
Freedom units, you know.
Please join the rest of the world and come on into the 21st century with your.
Never.
I will not. Fahrenheit or nothing.
You should. That's something you should take up on the local level with your councilman.
Be one town that does it.
Well, you have to start somewhere.
That'll be my one campaign platform. So I'm going to change Stratford.
No, make it dual. It has to be dual.
Yeah,
we're going ease them into it.
We're going back to the metric system, guys.
Yeah. Shit. No, that's cool. If you've gotten out and played in the past, and you do get out to play.
Oh yeah, I actually have a basket for my backyard that I can set up and practice in.
Yeah, I got one sitting right by the door that I take out to the air.
I still suck at it sometimes, but you know.
Well, if you ever get up this way, we have the second best disc golf course in the world here. So if you want to really play a nice course, come on up here.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I heard they recently opened the border between the U.S. and Canada again. So,
why did they make that?
I think it's just for vaccinated people, though, or am I mistaken?
You're right.
You have to fully vaccinated.
You have to have your passport, vaccine passport.
Vaccine passport.
I have both passports.
Party at Ollieman's house.
Come on up.
That is true. You can't use the enhanced driver's license anymore. You have to have a passport. What the hell?
Enhanced? Oh,
yeah,
passport.
Well, for those people that live by the border, you could get a special driver's license that had it was like halfway between a passport. So it
not really, but it's like a special stamp that says you can go there.
There's a chip inside, and there's more information on the barcode and stuff. There's a little bit of background check, cost a little bit more.
You know what, Lemon? I don't know. I don't know.
Listen, it's Malty's fault. It's Malty's fault. He labeled me the disc golf guy, so now I feel obligated to ask a disc golf question.
I feel obligated because
I do.
Wow, that is not how things work at all.
Part of Ollieman's contract to stay on the show is that we have to mention we have to let him mention disc golf at least once per show.
So I had no idea what disc golf was. I just looked it up. That's some stuff right there.
Right? Honestly, how long has that been around? Because I've just only heard of that within the last less than a year. I'm like, is that some new boring shit people
I
do
was
now?
disc golfing like 5-6 years ago.
Yeah. I started playing about 12 years ago.
What?
I know Ultimate Frisbee, the sport, I think came around in like the 70s or something. Yeah. So I'm not sure which came first, like Ultimate or disc golf.
No, it makes sense. The people who played Ultimate Frisbee in the 70s, 80s, and 90s are now older, so they have to do an old people game like golfing.
Exactly. Disc golf, the origin of disc golf were in the early 70s. All right, it was originally a tonal course where they would have like wind chimes that you would have to hit with your discs, and that's how you were considered in the basket. Then wind chimes changed to targets, which would be basically just a wooden target that you'd have to hit. And then from there, they developed a basket, which came out sometime in the early 80s.
Sticks is mad at you, Ollie, man.
What?
He's upset. Well, I was upset with you yesterday because I actually spent part of my day watching 2021 Disc Golf Championships.
That's awesome. That's awesome, though.
Oh, God.
That's great. Come on up and play. I'm volunteering at a tournament the Labor Day weekend, the first weekend of September here.
Let's all go. We're all going to go up to Ollieman's house. Liberty weekend. Let's go.
I mean, the hilarious part, Tim and I are actually in driving distance. So,
like I said, it's been 11 hours for you guys to get here.
Be like 16 or something for us. I don't even know if I tried.
Me and Malty are way on the other side.
I'd be able to hang out there for an hour before I had to turn around and go home.
That's all right. We can go up and we can play with Neil.
Oh yeah, that's easier. Just go straight up north.
Yeah, drag Randolph out too because he got right interested in it, but he still hasn't tried it yet. So.
Yeah, I just picked up regular golf.
Oh, regular golf sucks.
You did when?
In the last month or so.
Just cost-wise, it sucks.
Tim, no, you can't golf, man.
I know I can't, but I have to learn.
He picked it up.
Why?
No, dude. Do you remember that day you came over with Keith and we sat down to play the board game. And Colette pointed out that we were all sitting there in our like sweater shirts and flat cap. We just looked like the biggest pack of old men.
Oh, by the way, I have a flat cap now.
Yeah, I have one too, and I have a recliner. I'm not happy about it.
I have a recliner, and I got a cardigan with pockets.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, we got to fight the stereotype for just a little bit longer, man.
I can't. I need golf for networking.
If you start golfing, we're done for. That's it.
I need golf for networking.
Folks, we're witnessing a midlife crisis actively.
In the making.
It only counts as midlife if we make it to our 70s.
That's true.
Okay, fair.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah.
It's early onset. I don't know what you want to call it.
That was bad. We were like, we were sitting around in cardigans playing a board game, rolling dice, being just crotchety about stuff. And she called us out. It was bad.
And what game were we playing? It was like, was it a Napoleon?
No, it was Axis and Allies, like it always is.
Okay.
I think it was the one with the zombies that I got.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were playing Axis and Allies. We're in cardigans, drinking.
Yeah, Guinness. I think it was bad.
Yeah.
It was.
Do you guys play D&D as well?
A pack of old men. It's called a disability.
Hey.
Go back to your
Justin.
Doritos.
That's right. Go back to your Doritos, Justin.
I play D&D. Nolan, do you? I don't think you play D&D, right?
I'm a fan, but I don't
occasion?
play it.
Yeah.
I do a lot of NPC stuff for my friends when they do campaigns, though. That's always fun.
Cool.
And I just get to bounce around and be silly and go to bed when I want.
That's true.
Tim,
if you're playing D&D, you don't... Huh?
It's a good point.
You do play regularly or what?
I haven't played in about a year and a half, but yes. During the pandemic, actually, I started an online D&D game with a bunch of friends, but it fell apart because our schedules got too complicated.
Oh boy,
What
reel them in,
edition?
Ollie, man. Reel them in.
What edition of the rules do you play?
I favor 3.5, but
Thank you.
I have all the 5.0 books, and I like the 5.0 rules, but I enjoy 3.5.
Yeah.
3.5 is my game. That's my jam. 4.0 is complete trash.
Was it ever? Oh.
You can never beat number one. I don't know.
First edition D&D was cool for its time.
I don't know what I'm talking about, Ollie, man. Stop it.
I did play Advanced Dungeons and Dragons a few times, and that was interesting.
I started playing D&D in 81, so yeah. I got involved with the Red Basic set and then moved on to Advanced.
What's Advanced Dungeons and Dragons?
I think it's like
I'm pretty sure it's an episode of Community.
Yeah, it's on Community.
Advanced Dungeons and Dragons is called LARPing.
No,
I've heard of that term. No.
LARPing, live action role play. No, D&D is not.
When you dress up and you have to hit people with big swords.
That is
well,
Dungeons
then
and Dragons
Heroes
combined with
LARPing.
Renaissance Fair. That's
no, they don't.
No, just dressing up and doing D&D is not LARPing. LARPing is literally like you make a character, you like go to this area, and in that area you were in like, a fantasy world or in like a dystopia world.
Yeah.
So
There's
you
a
are
bunch
your
of groups out
character.
there.
You walk around and you only talk in your own character.
And you hit each other with foam bats.
Hit each other with foam things or like use Nerf guns on each other. The people who control it will like have random events happening. So like, there's one I did a couple times. It was like a dystopian. So they'd be like, oh, there are zombie attacks, or there's these radioactive plants in this area. Go harvest them for stuff.
Yeah. I did LARPing once back in the mid 90s, and it was kind of interesting, but it was a group of, there was maybe 50 or 60 of us that were doing this event. Plus there was another 25 or 30 volunteers.
So like that one scene in Role Models.
Like that whole movie. Basically.
Like that whole movie.
Yeah.
Basically. Okay.
So basically we were split up into little groups of 4, 5, 6 people with one DM going around with you. And the DM was guiding you around. And you'd encounter different volunteer groups that were monsters.
LARPing is like making a movie without getting paid.
Yeah.
Nolan does a kind of LARPing.
Oh, what's going on now?
I hate
Nolan,
you so
do
much,
kind of
Tim.
You tell.
Nolan, what is your LARPing?
I live within walking distance of your house. I know where you're going to put your food truck, and I swear to God, I will come tip it.
I'm expecting him to like leave and then come back and appear on Tim's screen.
Yeah, right.
How about
Hang on, hold on, I'm gonna go use the restroom.
He's gonna go out and for a cigarette and then come in
Like,
Tim's camera.
Tim, someone's behind you, Tim.
Oh, don't murder me. Nolan, why don't you tell the nice folks about your World War II reenacting?
You're a bad man, Timothy Bristol. This is why we'll not be voting for you for town council.
That's you're not my district, so it doesn't matter.
Well, there's also that, but shut up.
All right, Nolan, explain. It's in the ether. He spilled the tea. He spilled the tea.
Okay, fine. So my big jam has always been history. I was a history major in college. One of the things Tim and I used to do where we'd hang out a lot is we'd play board games, and specifically Axis and Allies, which is a moderately historically themed board game.
Mm-hmm.
One time Tim and I endured a chlorine gas attack to play. That was fun.
Yeah, it was. We were reenacting trench warfare.
Tim's roommate was a dipshit. And while we were setting up the board game, decided to go, I'll clean the cat box, which was long overdue and caked in urine, cat urine, I assume. And he sprayed it down with bleach.
Of course he did.
Now, those who know how chemical
and bleach. That sounds really fun.
Yeah.
Tell us how. Wait. Tell us how fun it is, Multi. Tell us how fun it is.
So, well, I mean, I think what happens is the bleach outgasses, what is it called? Chlorine? Yeah, chlorine. And so, yeah, it's chlorine gas. So gas attack, there you go.
So we're sitting in this apartment setting up this board game, and I look at Tim, and we're both coughing a little bit, and I go, hey, Tim, are your lungs on fire? And he says, yeah, they are. And his dipshit roommate goes, hey, bleach and ammonia, does that make mustard gas? And I said, no.
Oh my God.
It makes chlorine gas. Why?
Oh, jeez.
Oh, I better dump this down the drain here. I'll put it in the tub and I'll hit it with the shower and I'll dissipate it. And he comes out and I look at him. I went, you put the cold water on, right? And his eyes got like the size of dinner plates and he ran back in the bathroom. I was like, we're going to die.
We had to open all the windows, leave the apartment for an amount of time.
Yeah.
Hey, we'd leave for about 5 minutes, catch our breath, run back in, set the game back up, run back out. But
I can feel your aneurysm.
Oh, yeah. And
wow, okay, so you guys almost died. That's fun.
So history has always been a big thing. Years ago, probably about 10, 11 years ago, I got involved with historical reenacting. Sort of on accident. Was at an event, just sort of, it was a local thing in Connecticut. They were at a fort somewhere. I don't know what was going on. I was walking around, talking to people, started talking to this couple of guys, and they were like, hey, you should come out sometime. So I thought about it, and I thought, oh, what the hell? Why not? What's going to happen? And I had a really good time. That's what happened. I had a lot of fun. I started out in the American Civil War.
Mm-hmm.
I was part of the 12th Massachusetts Volunteer Infantry. We would wear wool in the summer and try not to die from heat exhaustion.
Great.
That was fun for a couple of years. And then I got involved in World War II reenacting. I just out in the field, there's a guy like, hey, we do this too. Do you want to come hang out? And I was like, yeah, kind of do actually. That sounds kind of fun. And now I've been doing that on and off for years and years and years.
So there was this one time when we lived in Derby, and Nolan wanted to show us his reenacting gear.
Oh.
And he got out his Civil War era musket, and he was like, "Oh, let me show you how it works." And so he brought it out in the backyard. He loaded the powder. He didn't load any bullets or anything, but he primed it and everything. Put a percussion cap on, and he went to go fire it, and it just went click. And he's like, crap, it didn't fire.
Oh, no.
So he put more powder in it, reset it, and he fired it, went bang. And we were like, oh, shit, everyone get back inside.
That was the first time we did that.
Yeah. Our neighbors must have thought we were insane.
You were.
I mean, it doesn't help that I'm standing in the backyard in like civilian clothes with a Civil War era cap on and the ammunition pouch over my shoulder and a musket. Like none of it looked good.
It's not a good look.
When we would do that later on with the World War II guns, we waited till it was dark out.
Yeah, okay. But same thing though. You had a what was it? A Chinese-made Russian gun?
No, it was a Chinese Mauser. Yeah, that thing was a liability because you cocked the bolt back, and it had like a 15-degree swing to either side. And those aren't supposed to do that. They're supposed to lock in place. You're not supposed to be able to wiggle them. So, very lucky nobody lost an eye on that thing.
Well, but once again, same scenario. He's like, "Oh, let me show you how the gun fires and everything." So he loaded a blank in, and did the bolt thing, and he went to go fire, and it just went bang. And he's like, "There must have been too much powder in that one."
Aren't you supposed to measure how much you put in that thing?
No. For the blanks, probably, but I wasn't making them. I was buying them from a friend. I assumed he knew what he was doing, so. That's kind of on me, but also kind of on him.
We also
did what they say about the word assume.
Yeah.
We also did other crazy stuff in our backyard, like
like the time you set your dresser on fire.
We did, but that was with your help. You gave us a bunch of black powder.
It's going on in your guys' backyard.
They have nothing else to do in Connecticut.
Crazy stuff.
We lived in Derby, and we needed people to know in that particular neighborhood not to fuck with us. One day I was leaving. So like we had a problem where like kids in the neighborhood with like one of them got a pellet gun and they would shoot out windows, or they'd break into cars and like steal all the change out of it. Like it was just sort of a shitty neighborhood. So one day I was going to an event, a reenacting event. I was loading stuff in the car, and the last thing I'm loading in is this armful of World War II era rifles. And I'm just loading them in. And somebody, because I was parked across the street from the apartment, saw me walk out with this bundle of rifles wrapped kind of in like a blanket, loading them into the trunk of the car. Anyone. And he just leans over the balcony and he says, "Hey, hello, my name's Jimmy." Okay. I'm a good neighbor.
trying to ingratiate himself with the potential wacko in the neighborhood.
Just kind of looked up at him like, "Now remember that, Jimmy," and I got in the car and I left.
It sounds like you were more freaked out than he was.
There's gonna be like a nice pie on your back porch at some point. It's gonna be fine. It's just gonna be a very nice pie. Be like, "Oh, this is nice," and like a nice bottle of whiskey or something. You're just like, I think Jimmy's trying to make sure I remember that he's the good neighbor.
Would have a note on it from Jimmy. Don't kill
Jimmy. Jimmy was a good neighbor. They never called the cops on us. And they never bothered us. It was very nice. I'm glad I don't live there anymore, but
we also had,
I'm sure they are too.
Keith and I both have a sword collection because we both do stage combat. So they're not real swords; they're blunted. I mean, they're made out of metal, but they're not sharp. And so we would do choreography in the backyard sometimes. So our neighbors would see us pretending to fight with swords, like. Nolan's right. They didn't fuck with us like at all. Swords and guns and all this other stuff. They didn't.
Yeah, the funny part was it probably freaked out the people in the brick housing complex next to us more than it did the family of Bosnians that lived on the other side, because nothing fazed those people. It was like a 3-family house. Each generation had their own floor. And they had fled from Bosnia during the breakup of Yugoslavia in the early 90s. And nothing we did ever fazed those people. They would just kind of be like,
normal.
They just look out the window and go, yeah. Maybe we'll cut the grass for you later. It looks a little long. Oh, our raspberry bush grew over into your lawn. Have some. But don't think it's because we're scared of you.
They've seen enough. They're like, this is nothing.
Yeah,
we're good. Well, I mean, despite doing very questionable things for for you two. I'll wrap it up with this and ask, how would you both, I guess individually or Tim or Nolan, take over, would, preface, summarize your podcast, the purpose of it, why you still do it, all that.
So Tim, why don't you take one and I'll take the other.
Okay, I'll do Speaking from the Center, because that's so Speaking from the Center is supposed to be a show where all sort of political ideas come together, and we have discussions and debates over, what's the best way to handle a certain situation. We talk about the news a lot, and we talk about things that are going on. Like the most recent episode, we kind of had a grab bag of news because there's a lot of stuff going on at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
But we like to put our own spin on what's going on and talk about things in a reasonable manner. That's why it's called Speaking from the Center, because we're not shouting at each other, unless I'm shouting at Nolan because he's being a dick. And and we try to have fun. It's supposed to be a political show where you're supposed to have fun and have open discussion.
Nice. All right, Nolan, take it away.
The other podcast that we do on alternating weeks is called Sitcom and Carry On. And that is one that's just a show where we talk about sitcoms. It's a show where we talk about not only like appreciating sitcoms or certain ones or certain characters or tropes or things, but we also want to talk about the broader cultural impact certain ones have had, and whether or not that's a good thing or not, or what some of the long-term consequences were. Like one of the things we're going to talk about next week is the history of the sitcom and where it came from and the impact some of them have had. For instance, I Love Lucy, one of the most popular, even to this day, sitcoms from the very dawn of television, is the reason we have Star Trek today.
Yep.
And explaining how those things are linked and all the different impacts it's had. So that's just sort of a fun place to talk about shows that we've liked, episodes, and just, kind of something a little bit more upbeat and positive than kind of the political stuff that can get a little dreary.
Yeah, it kind of gives you that little, and this is, to my understanding, on a bi-weekly basis. One week you guys do your politics, the following week you do the sitcom show, all on the same channel, correct?
We have two separate channels.
Okay. Well, now I need that info.
Yeah, I'll send you the channels.
Yeah. But mainly, folks, if you haven't already subscribed, the link to their Speaking from the Center podcast YouTube channel is down in the description below. Also, the link to your Twitch and Twitter handle. And then, of course, their Patreon, their Patreon link, and where I support them. And I think for myself, I first initially met Tim through the bin, obviously, mutual friends, Mikey, and the rest. And so then from the bin, that's how I kind of found out about Speaking from the Center. And I'm infamous for wanting to lurk and just view and see and watch and get a feel of what other people do. And if it definitely catches my interest, or if I like what I hear, or whatever it may be, or how you go about supporting the community, or how you go about, just supporting each other individually. Obviously, you both, including Keith, have a history together, so that's awesome. But I genuinely, and also, gosh, I hate that his name escapes me. When you both used to run on Thursdays, oh my God, what's his name?
Aaron.
Aaron, yes, Aaron. I miss Aaron.
Yeah,
we do
I
too.
said so.
He can't.
Yeah.
He has a scheduling issue with our show on Wednesday, but we're trying to work it out where he can be back on the show.
Okay. Yeah. I miss, he's he's very charismatic and intelligent. All of you have your own charisma and intelligence, and I appreciate it. And what I liked so much early on when watching you, and what drove me to support you, is that you definitely hold weight to what the title and purpose of what your show is. And I think it's fun and interesting to kind of, you know, see different views and talk about those issues that are, you know, present or past, what have you, or relating them all together, since you both have that fundamental history and politics combined. And that's what made me enjoy it so much. And that's why I supported you. And also maybe I wanted to one-up Shartan. But, you know.
Well, he's gone
that
now.
just
He's
means
not
more
even
money
a
in your
producer
pocket.
anymore.
Whatever your reason, we are so happy to have you. And it was a lot of fun having you on the show as well.
I want to come back. I do. But, you know, Pacific Coast time versus Eastern, it sucks. It sucks. And, you know, as a nurse, you can only get so much time off. So I was just lucky to be on vacation at the point in time. I tried to schedule with Tim. I think we back and forth for like almost 2 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a lot of time.
She kept saying, "Why is Shartan on the show before I am?"
I was jealous. I was mad.
Yeah.
I was mad.
Yeah.
But that's okay. It worked out. I can't wait to be back. By all means, you both are welcome to come back, and hopefully we can work out for Keith to come in so he can explain, you know, his, you know, little questionable past. That would be interesting.
Keith has a questionable present. So
questionable
that
present,
too.
Checkered past is the word you're looking
okay.
for.
That's fair. Yeah, that's very fair. Multi, Rollin, Ollie Man, final words. Justin,
nice
if you're still in there, finishing your Doritos.
You guys, nice to meet you. And I'd like to hear more about, maybe your beliefs. It sounds like you've had a fun time with the tarot cards and but you don't take yourself too seriously. So that's cool to see.
Yeah. I mean, I liked. So for me personally, I don't know how Keith feels about it. I think he has a more religious feel with it. But for me, I like learning how to do it, and the same thing with palmistry. I like learning how to do it, and I consider it like a craft that I can practice.
Sure.
Interesting. And Nolan, you know, brush up, you know, more on your Mandarin. Get back in the game.
Every day.
It's good.
According to Duolingo.
Oh, yeah. Usually after the show, we jump into our Discord, have a little discussion, maybe topical, maybe not. You both are welcome to join us if you have the time. The link for our Discord is in the chat or the channel, but of course, Justin and I have our own server, the International Free Thinkers. So generally we have, viewers of the show. We kind of sit back and chat for a while. So you're welcome to be there. I think our link is in the description if you haven't seen if you know of Discord at all. Most people don't usually use it a lot. So
that's how
I have a Discord.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I ran my D&D game, was through Discord.
Well,
I just linked the Discord link in the private chat there for you guys.
Woo. Yes. Thank you, Ollie Man. On point. You are earning your tea or whatever it is. I don't know what you're earning. I don't know. I try to think of something. Gold coin. I don't know. Whatever money you got in Canadian.
We sober. Well, I'm off.
Plastic. Yeah, it's all their money is plastic.
It's plastic.
It is not.
Which is
only partially plastic.
Oh,
it's partially plastic. I like
it. So technical. Anyways, folks, so obviously if you're following us on Twitter, that is our Twitter handle @we_sober, because sometimes we are not. Of course, support us and share the link to our Discord. We will see you there in a few minutes. As always, Nolan, Tim, thank you so much for joining us this evening. And I'm sure, Justin is heavily, heavily devastated. Final word, Star Wars is successful without relying on any Lucy's.
Yeah.
Thank you, Justin.
Without Desilu Studios, or not Star, that's Star Wars. Never mind.
Mm-hmm.
I misread what he said. I thought he said Star Trek.
Nope, not that mess.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Anyway, thank you, folks. Justin will be back again. I know, fan favorite. He misses you all. Trust me, he's crying as of right now into his empty bag of Doritos.
Yep.
It's okay, Justin. It's okay.
He's only got the crumbs left.
I know, and he's gonna kick my ass for me saying that. Anyways, Good night, everyone. We'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Good night.